Hello. You saw Kamari in some of her early pictures in the last video, and that video ended with our getting married. Interesting story of some of the things surrounding our wedding. We were married on the steps of the old Berry Mansion in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Mrs. Berry, in planning the wedding, she said, well, we only want just some friends and family. Let's make it a small wedding. And I said fine, and Kamari had said fine. But by the time she got all of her friends and family invited, we were looking at 150, 200 people. I said, why don't you just throw it open to anybody who wants to come? We had an outdoor wedding on the steps of the mansion, and so they threw it open. And she said, Lee, how many people are going to drive the 70 miles from Newcastle? And I said, a few of my family will be all. I said, maybe 10, 12 people will come. Anyway, we set up chairs on the lawn there, and we set up 300 chairs. Well, as the wedding proceeded, the 300 chairs got filled, and there was about 150 standing room only in the back. So you'll see why the wedding cake was the size it was. We had anticipated we would have maybe 200 or so. Anyway, the wedding cake had 28 pounds of dates in it. And one of the funny things is, you're supposed to save the top layer and eat it on your first anniversary. And so we did. We had somebody take that little round top layer and put it in the freezer. And year went by and we pulled that out to eat it, and it was styrofoam because the lady making the cake was afraid it would be too heavy and it was going to squash the rest of the cake down. So we had styrofoam for our first wedding anniversary. But after the wedding was over that night, it was 7 o'clock or so, we drove down to Oklahoma City. We were going to spend 3 or 4 days on a honeymoon. And we got down there and had a dinner at the Flamingo Motel. And the next morning we got up and I said, sweetheart, what would you like to do today? And she looked at me kind of wistfully and she said, you really want to know what I want to do? And I said, yeah. She says, I'd like to ride my horse today. So about 10 o'clock, we had our breakfast and we drove back to where we were going to live outside of Ripley, Oklahoma on a ranch, farm and ranch operation that I had rented, 1,600 acres. And we had the horses there. And so Kamari went to ride her horse, and I got on a tractor and went to the field and plowed a field that needed plowing. And so that's how we did our anniversary. And since that time, we've never gone anywhere. We've never taken a real vacation. We've gone to visit Russell and Lori once that wasn't a business trip. But everything else, with horses, we've traveled the world. I've been to Ireland and England on horse buying trips, and we've been all over the United States with horses, teaching clinics, uh, buying horses, hauling horses. And so that's a little bit of the story, and I'll include on the tail end of this a couple of the wedding pictures that you might enjoy seeing. Know that life has been wonderful. We've had 58 wonderful years together, and I look forward to seeing her when I pass this life and go beyond the veil. So have a wonderful day.